This song is called All God, and there are some lyrics for you to sing along with me when you get the hang of it. Everything and everyone is all God. All in nature, wild and free, is all God. Even the chair on which you sit, even the air you deeply breathe, is all God. All the glory and the majesty is God. All the glory and the majesty is God. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. All glory and the majesty is God. All the earth and all the universe is God. All of you and all of me is God. Everything and everyone is all God. All nature, wild and free, is all God. Even the chair on which you sit and the air you deeply breathe is all God. All the glory and the majesty is God. Again, all the glory and the majesty is God. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. All the glory and the majesty is God. All the earth and all the universe is God. That means all of you and all of me is God.
All of you and all of me is God. All is God. With a gentle breath, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Relax just a little more deeply into your seat and focus your attention and your awareness within. Bring your full awareness and attention to that divine spark in consciousness that is God, that is always good, absolute, unchanging good. That is the source and the substance from which all things emerge, and we have the opportunity to consistently choose God thoughts, God actions, creative life-giving words. All of you is God. All of you have that divine spark. We all have this inherent divinity within. Now, with a gentle breath, I invite you to shift your awareness from that place within to an expanded place, a place where you contemplate the entire universe. All that is in creation, all that has ever been, all that will ever be, is an individualized, brilliant, glorious, majestic example of God. This is glory, manifest. And knowing that all that has been created and all that will ever be created is the presence of the One. Individualized and an expression of love. In seeing this majesty in our mind's eye, we begin to understand the unlimited nature that is available in the mind of God, the one mind. Ernest Holmes said, "There is only one life, God's life, and I am living it now." There is only one life, God's life. Charles Fillmore said, "Life is consciousness." And so with intention and attention, we know that this is life. This still brilliant spark of life in us. And with our inner eyes, we see majesty everywhere. We behold the glory of God everywhere. And so with attention and intention to bring this ability to see clearly with spiritual eyes in this physical world, when you're ready, I invite you to bring your attention and your awareness back to this manifest moment, this space, this time of togetherness. And see yourself and all of creation as glory. This is glory, and I am blessed to be a part of the glory of God. I am blessed to be a part of the glory of God. And I know that I am part of the glory of God because I see glory in all things. This we claim in the name and as the nature and as the presence of the living Christ. And so it is, and so we let it be.
All the glory and the majesty is God. All the glory and the majesty is God. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. All the glory and the majesty is God. All the earth and all the universe is God. All of you and all of me is God. It's all God. And as we prepare to receive Rev Todd's message, let us do this one. This one is by Denise Rossier. And of course, it's pretty simple. Well, I think simple enough to pick up easily. And so I encourage you to sing along with me. Love is alive in the space within between us. Feel that love right now. God speaks out in the space between us. Hear those words right now. I am holy. You are holy. There is beauty between us. Spirit shines in the light between us. See that light right now. Peace is born in the world between us. Be that peace right now. I am holy. You is alive in the space between us. Love is alive in the space within us. Love is alive in the space between us.
Deidrey, thank you so very much. Say that again. I think she heard me because I forgot to turn my mic on. Deidrey, thank you for that beautiful song. One of the things that shows up for me that I feel obligated, I feel responsible for being authentic as a minister. And I need to tell y'all that I've been feeling low and weighed down this week. Maybe some of you have too, for different reasons. I sat on a ministry call. I sat on a ministry call this week, and someone brought up the heaviness in the world, and that the heaviness in each of our individual lives, and that question that we are invited, that ministers are invited, or therapists are invited to ask is, what's this the anniversary of? What have you forgotten? What has slipped your mind? And this morning I realized, as I was contemplating this woman that has called, that now lives in Beaufort. She was reading a book around about healing and what healing looks like, and I had written a story about my friend Joe that I've mentioned before. I changed his name in the story, but and I suddenly realized that tomorrow is the anniversary of his death. And then I had to go look it up to make sure that, I'm not remembering this wrong. It's the 17th anniversary of his death. Now, how on earth has it been 17 years? That place of love, of peace, that space within, that space between us is always inviting us to step into the sacred, to recognize the space between us is sacred. Even when someone's no longer here in this physical manifest world, we have to step into that. And it is, we are looking at a time in the world where there is polarization and a deeper invitation to move with intention and attention and deliberation, to move together and to be the peace, to be the love, to find that space that is between us and to call it holy. And that recently showed up even here in the Unity movement. I know that I've talked about it briefly a couple of times. We had a vote this past week. The voting happened this week. If you probably remember the municipal votes, right? And if you ever think, voting doesn't matter, the mayor of Morehead City is in contest right now because it was a difference of one vote. One vote. So, but there was another historic vote that happened this week. Unity has had two organizations for a number of years: Unity Worldwide Ministries and Unity World Headquarters. One was created as because of a support needed for ministries and ministers, and the other holds the assets of Unity Village and held the Unity School for Practical Christianity. And then at some point years ago, there was a CEO of that said, we don't really want to have a school anymore. So the school switched over to the other organization, right? And so, but there was a vote this week for Unity World headquarters to assume the assets of Unity Worldwide Ministries and to become a department, the Department of Ministries and Leaders within the larger organization. And there were more than 1,000 people that logged in to vote. And there were more than 900 yeses and about 90 no's. And so as I see some other denominations in this world breaking apart, unity is coming together. And I can't label it good or bad, it simply is. And now we have to move into the flow of this divine creation. It's symbolic. See, that it's an invitation to Spirit, to each one of us, because we are meant for unity. We're meant to embody the glory of God in our togetherness. And anytime we move in the direction of separation, we are moving away from what I believe Spirit is calling us to experience and to know. And our daily word today reminds us, I'm a spiritual being, a glorious expression of God. I create within me. I create within me. You create within you a world of majesty, of splendor, of wonder. And then we find all of that in the world around us. In our psalm, the heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims his handiwork. Metaphysically, heaven is this state of consciousness in which our soul and our body are in harmony with divine mind. That's what heaven is. It's not some far-off place that you might get to go to. It is a state of consciousness where not only your soul, but your physical body are in alignment with divine mind, with the oneness. And the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary says that the teachers of metaphysics find that their most difficult work is getting students to recognize that heaven is a condition of mind. And apparently even Jesus experienced this. He had difficulty making himself understood, which accounts for all the parables and the comparisons that he gave to the kingdom of heaven. But never once did Jesus say, it's a place located somewhere else. And the firmament, that which the firmament, which we sometimes believe that it is this world, this manifest world. But really, if life is consciousness, firmament in consciousness is faith in mind power, a firm, unwavering place in consciousness. Your firmament must become faith in the power of mind action. The firmament is to know and to see that everything is glorious. Everything is the glory of God. And we have such a short time horizon, we can't always see what that place is. We can't always see that glory because we get caught up in our human personality, ego experience of calling things good and bad. Or maybe that's just me, but I do that. Call things good and bad. So today I really want us to focus on the space between us becoming a place of glory, both the inner and the outer and communal. How do we live in this world, how do we live our life? How do we use our consciousness to be a part of glory? First, we have to recognize that the glory is within and in the space between us, and that the glory is within you and you and you and you. That glory is really all there is, because God is all there is, and God is glorious. Right? Our daily word said that in you is kindness and warm memories and inspired motivation and peace. In potential. How many of us are living in peace this morning? I see some people with their hands up, and I love it. And the thing about that is, when you are living in peace, it is intentional. It is part of that inspired motivation. You are inspired and motivated to be the presence of peace, regardless of what happens out here. And it is possible to live that way. But it means we take a decision. Right? And then we have to turn outward. We have to look around and see the beautiful diversity of the world, the beautiful diversity in humanity. And we have to be clear that including the dolphins that Amy saw today, but every bird, every flower, every breeze, all of it is part of the glory of God. And when we talk about that, embodying this idea of gratitude, when you finally have the realization that this is glorious, give thanks. Give thanks for the perception and give thanks for the presence. And then remember that the space between us is not emptiness. It is the fertile ground of potential. It is where our separate gifts, our separate individualized sparks get to come together and create a world that works for all. But it takes that inspired motivation, that intentional decision. It's almost as if each of us has within us a wellspring. And as those well springs come together, they create a deeper channel of spirit. Just like two rivers come together, they converge and they create a wider river. And that meeting doesn't erase the fact that there were two rivers. It doesn't erase the fact that there were individualized well springs, but they come together and they create even greater possibility. It amplifies the possibility when we realize that apparent space in between is the place of possibility, the place that connection can happen. And I think I've mentioned to some of you in private conversation that I've noticed the space between me and some of my loved ones here recently. You ever have any tension with some of the people that you love? Occasionally, right? And so, if we pause for just a moment and we realize that space between us, when we don't label it, when we don't try and make ourselves right and someone else wrong, that there is an opportunity to connect and to be deeper in our spiritual knowingness. There is a place that we have greater creative power and energy when we open ourselves to that possibility that the place between us is glory manifest. So we must recognize the space between, and we must say, this place is holy. This is sacred. And then we unify. We are unifying toward a collective glory. We've done it in unity now. We took these two organizations. They're becoming something greater, a greater movement, a greater evolution, an embodiment of our oneness, an embodiment of the teachings of this movement. We're moving in that direction. And this is beautiful to me because, one of the things that some of the people that were concerned, that were worried, that maybe some of them voted no, I'm not sure because I don't know who voted what, but I know that what we have been told and what we know is that unity is not about uniformity. You can go into 200 different unity churches in the next week, and you can do that because everybody's they're doing some live streaming. Not all of them do it as good as we do. Just going to say that. However, 200 and you're going to get a very different flavor of what unity is and what unity means. And they're all teaching oneness. They're all teaching that there is nothing that you need to do to be worthy of the love of God. There is nothing that you can do to be kicked out of having God's love, that in fact, you are the very presence of God's love. Our two rivers, they come together, they grow. But you know what? They're all rushing towards the ocean. They're all rushing together to this greater thing. And so are we. We live in a world that is polarized. We all know this. And yet there are consistently people who are different. They are diverse. They have different ideas, but they have shared interests that come together. I was looking around at this modern experience of what's happening, and we have a perfect example right here in Carteret County, here in eastern North Carolina. Recently, the North Carolina Coastal Counties Fishery Coalition made its existence into the world come into fruition. A group of disparate people that lived in different places, 40 different counties, came together to create one coalition to try and impact the world they live in because they felt their livelihood was threatened. Right? This came after there was an effort to ban shrimp trawling in the state's inland waters and within a half mile of the Atlantic shoreline. That was a bill that came up in the North Carolina House, and it got killed because of the active work of the people and the communities that came together in this coalition. And that is a direct example of people seeing the space between us and stepping into it with creative ideas, with a sense of community, and shaping the manifest world that they're living in. We're stepping into this space to create possibilities, to impact our consciousness, impacting our lives. Our space between us is not about identifying our politics or our places of agreement. It's about recognizing the divine reflection that we see in each other, that we see in everyone, so that we might build bridges of understanding, that we might create together a greater flow of those inner well springs to bring about God's good. And we get to do that in so many different ways. You know, I have my hands in a number of different organizations, and last year I went to San Antonio. And to celebrate the glory of God, though not in those specific terms, the city of San Antonio raised $23 million. $23 million to create a land bridge. There are these two parks in San Antonio that were divided by an interstate. And they built a land bridge to celebrate the glory of God. Because that land bridge, right, it becomes an avenue through which both people and animals can cross a busy interstate. And so it connects people from different sides of the city. It creates an avenue for other creations of God, deer and armadillo and all these other animals that are, in Texas can cross an interstate now without being killed and without risking human life. And that was only possible because people saw the divide, the space between us, and stepped into it with intention to create connections. And 10 million of it was raised from private donations. The other 13 was a bond. But countless lives have been saved and changed because people identified the space between us and said, how do we, in this physical manifest reality, make this sacred? How do we celebrate the glory of God? Though I'm sure they didn't use those words. But that's what they did. You know, 100 years ago, back in 1993, I spent a few months living in Washington, D.C. And well, I didn't live there. I worked in Northwest, working at a theater company, and they've got a new bridge up there now around 12th Street that connects two disparate parts of the community together, and they've turned it into a beautiful park. People are looking into the manifest world and seeing, what can we do? How can we bridge the space between us and make this place holy? And so these are specific examples of ways communities are coming together and creating change. And if we can do it with bridges for people and animals, then we can find a way to bridge all of the space that we think is between us. Because the truth is, everyone that we see is the manifest, individualized expression of the one mind. And they, too, love this experience of life. It's my goal this week is going to be to hold more compassion for people that aren't doing things the way I think they need to be done. I see that in the world a lot. Y'all, maybe you do too. But when I pause and I remember that this person too loves life, or loves their country, or loves their family, or loves their community, loves their way of life just like I do, that I have to open up the wellspring within me and let life and love and divine substance flow through me, the potential of healing, of finding that common ground, finding that place where we can create bridges of understanding and bring forth absolute good. And I know that I can't do that when I decide that I'm right and they're wrong. Because when we do that, we're creating that duality. We are creating that distance and calling that space between us unholy. And that space is sacred. So this is my work this week, and I invite you to see how you might create bridges this week as well. And that voice that talks to me sometimes is saying, remind people that if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results until you change the way you think. Change the way you think. And that might mean remembering today and starting every day with the knowledge that you are holy. And it might be remembering that that neighbor that pisses you off, that child that does not call as often as they should, that child is me. And every other example we can come up with. They are holy too. Holy, holy, holy. You, all of you, is God. All of you is God. And so it is. Thank you, friends, for letting me share today.
Thank you, Todd, for your message. I'm going to sing this one. We are made in the image and likeness of God. And we are holy. I am made in the image and likeness of God. I open my eyes, see what's inside. I know in my heart I am holy. Holy, beautiful, the holy essence of God. Beautiful, the holy what's inside and know in your heart you are holy, holy, beautiful, holy essence of God. Yes, you are beautiful, the whole